Well, I'm outside the Beta 1 Bouldering gym. You can't really see it. But anyway, this is usually the part of the vlog where like the guy shows his face, but I'm a little shy. So I'm not gonna do that. And I know that when I see myself when I'm editing this video, I'm probably gonna throw up. Anyway, I'm trying to do something a little bit different. I'm gonna try and go in and film as much of like my own climbing stuff. I'm gonna strip back on the bullshit a little bit, but don't get me wrong, there's still gonna be some bullshit. And I'll probably like try and take you through my own thought process and stuff as I'm going through these boulders. Granted, I'm not any sort of authority on holy shit. Sorry, that car's lights were super bright. I'm not any sort of authority on like technique. I wouldn't say that I'm even like a great climber, but I just wanted to put like a little bit of a backlog on my climbs tonight and see how that goes. And I'm too shy to be in there speaking to a camera because I know for a fact that Beta 1's going to be packed full of people. And it's not like I'm there by myself. I know like probably Swan's in there. I don't know, some of the boys probably inside, but I'm too shy, so I'm gonna like probably put some voiceovers on my climbs. But yeah, anyway, enough of this boring car. Enough of this boring car is right. I'm gonna lead you into the session from here, and I've never been more right about anything when I said it was gonna be packed. At Beta 1, I consider pink tags to be around my flash grade. The jump in difficulty from pink to black is pretty noticeable, and so I usually project black tags. White is a little beyond my reach at the moment, but I'm hoping to get there before the end of this year. I started off with a warm-up on the oranges in the new reset. With warm-ups, I try to focus on making the climb look as clean as I possibly can. I know that it can still use some improvement though. I like the pinches on this climb. It invites a new type of hold that you don't normally get in blue tags, but they were actually quite generous. Short and sweet and pretty accessible. Also, behind the camera is a friend named Chloe, who I totally didn't expect to run into today. Swan also held the camera, but that's later. The black pocket holds were slightly more demanding. I can see how a blue tag climber would struggle on these, even though they're deep. Transitioning to the strength of climbing on 2 fingers on a hand is crazy. It makes me wish like I could compare some of my climbing videos when I was starting out, but I lost all of those when I got a new phone. I went straight onto the white holds from here. The climbs were very much the same sort of movement, but in a different font. The white holds were smaller crimp edges as opposed to pockets. Having good foot tech makes these climbs flow really well, and they were set by the great Steph's small climbs. I'm not the closest to them, but I'm really proud and happy that they've got a setting position here. It is well deserved. This orange tag was on the harder end of the grade. The first and second moves were a bit of a struggle for some climbers, as I witnessed. Really being able to engage the wrist on the sloper is important. I wasn't supposed to cut my right foot, but I did anyway because my footwork is trash. The last move was comfy for me, but I can see it being more difficult and committing for shorter climbers. Anyways, the warm-up round is over, so I moved on to the new pinks in the reset. I later found out there was a third pink near the slab wall, but that was right at the end of my session, so I missed it. The pink crimps were nice and comfy, and thinking about it now, I think it just means that my crimp strength has come a long way. The pocket was big enough for a match, but matching is illegal, so I crossed in on the second last move. The pocket was angled away from me, however, so I had to sort of muscle through it with stacked fingers. It was not very comfortable. Swan, being the usual show-off, insisted that I record him sending the pink tags as well. But it was nice to see a bit of variance in the beta here.
Rip. Probably match. No? Ew.
Oh no, it's in selfie mode. How do I turn it around?
The yellow hold climb had some interesting movement at the beginning. albeit a bit soft for the grade. Most of the holes were actually quite positive, save for the round sloper. The crimps at the top were also in-cut and easy on the skin. The heel hook start was the intended beta, but doing it swan's way would be much more intuitive and easy. A nice intro into the pink tag difficulty. I thought there were going to be more new pink tags, but there weren't, so I instead went off to film some of the pinks that I had already sent, but had no proof of.
Well, this guy's fucking a show off or something.
I went over by the cave to repeat some pink tags and found them easier than when I first sent them. That was only about a week or two ago, so it's surprising how much of a difference it makes when your body has had time to learn the movements. It's like muscle memory. This climb was very tensiony, and I like that because it's something I'm not great at, but enjoy doing. It's pretty rewarding to see progress in my tension, especially when I see it on the kilter board, but we'll get to that later. The yellow hold climb was supposed to start with some sort of toe hook, but me being the long boy I am, opted for a less techie beta. I normally bring my right hand in without cutting feet, but I decided I should just stick it out because I wanted the clips of me climbing to be a little bit more raw. There's no point if this log is all just perfectly sent climbs and no ugliness. The top half of this climb was all jugs, and I felt it was a missed opportunity to do something interesting. This red features a dynamic toe hook catch, which in my opinion is the cool way to do it. My first end of this climb I just did a foot stab dyno. It's much more precise, but it doesn't get any swag points. The slope near the top is very droppable, but once you get the crimp, the climb is over. I cut at the end thinking it would look cool, but I actually just look stupid. This climb was a bit more powerful than the rest. The crimps were a bit bigger and the climb was straightforward, but the feet were a little sketchy. Again, it felt so much easier than my first end, even though I did flash it. Sometimes Beta 1 has mixed tags. I guess because the climb belongs somewhere between the two ballparks. This yellow was tagged pink and black, though I really think it just deserves to be pink. The first move is a run and jump, but the undercling is super good. One thing about my climbing, I'm hot garbage at mantling. Take me outdoors, I will never top out. It's the scariest part of any climb in my opinion, although I managed to make this one look fairly comfortable. This was the only black tag I worked on tonight. I probably should have explored the black tags a bit more, but I spent a lot of energy on the pink tags instead. I'm usually pretty good at these big compression sort of moves, but the hold they slapped on this climb was super slopey. I also have pretty crap hip mobility, so my options for feet are a tiny bit limited. I was lost at the second last move because I just didn't know what to do with my right leg. I had to crank hard to make the move stick and I had no confidence that this would go tonight. But it did, and I'm super happy with it. I thought it was over when I cut feet, but the right hand was just that tiny bit good enough for me to hold the compression and throw a heel hook in. Beta 1 had a gimmick slab wall up this week, instead of its normal reset, which is probably why I expected there to be more climbs up for me to film. It was a challenge to walk across a tricky no-hand slab with a spoon and egg to balance. They had a leaderboard for the fastest times, and I think that's one thing about Beta 1 I really enjoy. They love to include their community and always find some way to engage with their customers. Even the tags they put up sometimes have cheeky little drawings or messages on them.
Judging me me by the side.
Stand out because you're holding it in Nan's camera. And that's how
Anyway, I dropped the egg on the first go and discovered the egg actually opens up and has a tiny little fried egg plushie inside. The second attempt was much better, but I scraped my cheek against the wall twice.
Come on.
Also, at the end, I pretty much fumbled the egg, but I happened to drop right in the basket jug without breaking, so I don't give a shit. It counts. After a brief rest, Chloe insisted that we try some kilter boards before she left, so that's what we did. This climb is called Exception by Griffin Whiteside. It's a V8 at 40 degrees, and the crux was a super cool and hard move. You probably can't hear it, but I let out the most genuine power scream there. It made me feel like I had certainly gotten stronger, even if just for a little bit. I unfortunately didn't quite understand what I was supposed to do after the crux, so I took a few more attempts. On the second go, I tried to bump, but I couldn't hold the tension. On the third go, I tried to cross up with the left hand and found it seems pretty possible, but I went for the match instead of the high hold, which probably would have held my swing in. I was super pumped at this point in the session, however, so I settled for a couple of V6s that I didn't record the names of. I feel like I kind of just tallboyed this first V6 because the Gaston move was pretty hard to hold, but I kept my foot on to hold tension. In the second V6, the undercling was good, but holding the tension was pretty difficult. I also almost dropped the cross into the last hold because my left hand was out of beans.
Yeah, show us your arsenal. Ah! And we're back. I would say that is like a pretty fruitful session for me at Beta 1. Like, I don't normally send a black tag every session, you know, like black tags are bloody hard. Yeah, I got one today, so I'm pretty proud of myself for that one. Resent a lot of pinks, flashed, the new pinks. Actually, there was a pink that I saw like right as they were stripping the wall that I completely missed because they like put in a few sneaky extra climbs. So I'll have to come back and send those ones. Yeah, even on the kilter board, like I'm piecing together some like V8 moves. It feels pretty good. I felt pretty strong tonight, but man, that took a lot out of me, especially doing the kilter climbs. My forearms are freaking pumped. You can't see it because it's dark. Anyway, I'm gonna head home and probably call Ren because I haven't spoken to them in a while. Now for a celebratory sweet treat after a good session.